let's get into these documents. I just got them back this morning from the CBC because unfortunately for the CBC, but fortunately for me, I guess only in this instance, the CBC is a Crown corporation and thus subject to access to information. Now, we knew we couldn't ask for specifics about complaints against CBC because unlike the CBC, who makes their guests fill out weird gender and sexuality checklists before they're allowed to appear on air, we actually care about people's privacy and about protecting their privacy. We take that pretty seriously. However, we did ask the CBC for the number of human rights complaints filed against them on two separate grounds. The first one on the grounds of national or ethnic origin, age, skin color, or race. So let's call the first category general racism. And we also asked for the data on a second category. I'll just call it general bigotry. So religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, marital status, family status, genetic characteristics, pardons status, and disability. Here's what I got back. And the numbers, they won't quite add up here. CBC is doing something a little bit tricky. You need to understand that some of the complaints are comprising both Category A and Category B, or multiple accusations from Category A and then Category B that make up a single complaint. Okay? You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. From 2008 to 2012, there were 10 racism complaints and 16 general bigotry complaints. So you would expect 26 complaints here, but CBC sort of plays fast and loose and rolls a couple of these into a single complaint for a total of 19 human rights complaints against the CBC in those 4 years. From 2013 to 2017, we had 14 racism complaints and another 11 general bigotry complaints for, I guess, if you trust the CBC's math, 17 total human rights complaints against the CBC during those 4 years. And from 2018 to 2020, so just 2 years now, as opposed to the previous 4 intervals, we've got 13 racism complaints and 19 general bigotry complaints. We should expect to see, 31 complaints, but CBC rolls a bunch of them together for a total of 18 complaints. So in 2 years from the CBC, when the feds and the CBC really ramped up their accusations of everybody else being a bigot, well, that's when the accusations internally against the CBC really ramped up too. I guess the CBC is a lot like Justin Trudeau, their sugar daddy. You see, when Justin Trudeau accuses you of being a sexist, racist, misogynist, homophobe with fringe views controlled by a foreign hostile government, he's actually the guy who's guilty of all of those things.
You deserve a government that's going to continue to say, get vaccinated. And you know what? If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. But don't think you can get on a plane or a train besides vaccinated people and put them at risk.
Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui ne croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère?
Same with the CBC. They are obsessed with everybody else being a human rights violator, but I think the phone call is coming from inside the house.
That was an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show. I'm Ezra Levant. Every weekday, I do a monologue about the topic of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest either in studio or via Skype. And then I read your mail, whether it's fan mail or hate mail, which is sometimes even more interesting. This is on our premium service, though, called Rebel News Plus. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. It's $8 a month or less if you buy a whole year in advance. You get my show every weeknight, plus Sheila Gunn Reid's show every week. It's called The Gun Show. It's pretty amazing. You know, we rely on you because we do not take a dime from the government. In Canada, that makes us almost unique. So please help us out and help yourself to some great journalism at rebelnewsplus.com.